Um, yeah, as you say in the chat, yeah, Nigel, the fastest player out there, prefers the full 25 minutes of time, as we know. Um, all right, so we're ready to go here. Fingers crossed that we'll be able to keep everything in working order. Um, so I think, yeah, Wellington is going to go first in this game. We're going to reset the scores and the tracking, and we're ready to rock as soon as the players are. It looks like Opeyemi, the players may have gotten up. Hopefully, it's not that the screen is frozen. Players may have gotten up to just walk briefly, but they're supposed to start momentarily.
Yeah.
Um,
So
so
Will, when are you going to head over to Nigeria for a
Well,
tournament? I know I'd love to.
I have to say that I was invited to participate in this very event, the MGI Grand Slam, and I truly wish that it had made sense. But there are a few things that I have to work out. In order to travel to Nigeria, I need certain medical clearances that actually will require me to get a waiver from a doctor. So I was sort of
Mm.
slow about that. Um, I think it has to do with the yellow fever
Yeah, the
vaccine,
yellow fever. Yeah,
which
yeah.
is a live virus vaccine. I take other medicines and treatments for other stuff for Crohn's disease that apparently make that not trivial for me to get. So I would need to get a waiver for that. I had been working on that process, but ultimately I decided that I couldn't really predict in enough time that I would be comfortable enough with like where the world was going to be for COVID to move
Yeah,
ahead with that. So it's definitely on my bucket list
yeah.
to do. I would love to make it out to Nigeria to compete at some point. I've never played Wellington in a game. I
I
feel like
haven't either.
he's is that really?
He's the only person I've never played. Not the only
That's
person, but like, no,
the
never.
only like the
I've
biggest.
never been in the same room as him before. I don't
Wow.
think. I've never
And
met him.
yeah, I mean, he's become relatively active. Like he plays a
Yeah.
lot on the scene. So that's surprising. I would have thought that, if not me, at least you would have had an opportunity to play Wellington before, but that is surprising. So that'll have to be on our, whatever bucket list
Yeah.
we each have. That'll be an
Let's do it.
overlap for us to see if we can do
Yeah.
that. So
Yeah. It would be fun. I'd certainly love to. And yeah. I'm hoping that international tournament calendar starts to have some tournaments on it that aren't just Poughkeepsie for every year for the next decade.
yeah, for sure.
No slight intended to the directors of the tournament. I've heard it's a wonderful time, but I would love to see some things show up on the calendar for abroad for 2023 because I know I would like to go at least somewhere
go
next year.
travel, play in some interesting places for sure.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, so yeah, it was a big announcement relatively recently that Alchemist Cup is going to return in 2024, not 2023, because we need to get back on the scene and qualify for
yeah.
events. But that was for
It's
me, and
gonna be
I
tough. It's gonna be tough too. I'm assuming there's at least 6 Americans already signed up, and yours truly is currently in sixth place. So
Yeah, I have to imagine though that there will be other teams that you can probably join, of course, at the same time. It won't be the same as
what
we
what
gotta
what
have you
what other country can I join?
on USA. Well, there's probably rest of world teams or something like that.
So I've been helping Michael plan the event, and I made it very clear that he should get rid of all of those teams. So
Oh,
I
okay.
do not
Well,
believe there will be. I am sowing my own demise. Is Jakarta a legit place? Team Oscotts and Paranoia. I've heard mostly good things about it, but like maybe I don't know. Like it's maybe a little less safe than like Bangkok, certainly, but I think lately it's more fine to travel to.
yeah, that's certainly an exotic locale. All right, it looks like the players have started. Hopefully, we get some rack update. All right, there we go. Wow, are we going to see an opening bingo for Wellington here? He has one. Kind of surprising looking at these ugly letters, but
Yeah.
and this is the classic. Oh, Oh,
Oh,
nice.
It's nice. That's
Okay.
not what I saw.
That's that's not what I saw either. I saw vicious and uveitis. So Wellington has opted instead to place the Q on the board, which actually, strictly speaking, I feel like that's the best play because it is by far the least likely letter for Opeyemi to have a bingo through, right? So the idea
Yeah.
here with Kvyat is you're making the blank a Q. You could make the blank an E, the most valuable letter, or you could make the blank an O, which is not that bad of a bingo tile. So by
Yeah.
making the blank a Q, as we see Opeyemi exchanging from his rack of 7 consonants, that's not just style points. That's just the best play by Wellington. So
And then he immediately draws the cue and looks like he's gonna play it
is
for
he? Oh my
points.
God! Holy
Like he's
crap!
soliloquy.
This is the subject of one of the YouTube videos I made about Nigel Richards fishing for this word at one point in a seemingly lost game against Goman, Panya Sophenlert. So amazing play and frankly pretty amazing draw to draw the Q and have it not get blocked through the Z. So Wellington up immediately 147-0 in this game.
F. I feel like we need F's in chat.
Yeah, that's rough. That's rough. So we'll see what Opeyemi draws, and it's great that we have a little bit of stability with the board. We'll hope for that to continue.
Yeah. What do you do when your opponent draws both Qs? Like you're in trouble. The Q scores 10 points.
Should we do a prediction? Should we do a prediction of will there be 3 Qs played in this game? Right.
Yeah, what odds would you give someone if they wanted to bet you that the second blank will be played as a Q? What odds would you give chat?
I mean, geez, I can't imagine probably like 200 to 1 or something like that. You want to bet
We're here
in
the chat 20 to 1. So
I would be bankrupted if it was 200 to 1 and it did that. So, all right. Unfortunately for Opeyemi, this play of run, it looks kind of lame, but it's actually not that bad here given his rack and the game situation. So, and sure enough, Wellington is going to play Eladarin double through the L for 82. And now we have a rarely seen score in Scrabble, probably 229-8.
229-8.
Yeah, that's just again. This is just how Scrabble goes. Sometimes, every now and then, you have an LOL game like this that just gives you no chance from the get go.
Yeah.
Opeyemi draws a
He did draw Troilism.
That's correct.
Speaking of triplexes.
Right. So there is a bingo here. That being said, even this bingo is going to put him still way in arrears in this game. So we'll see, I guess.
I see Macho of Lagos in the chat. That's someone I've been following on Instagram. That's cool.
Oh, nice. Yeah, so Troilism, this is the best scoring spot for it, just to, show you have this, if you want to play the other eye, and you have the other eye open across the board. But this is the best choice for Opeyemi. He's going to get 74 points. All of a sudden, it doesn't look quite as bad, but it still looks pretty bad. And Wellington has longer blank on his rack. So I feel like hopefully I wish I would have placed some more bets on the Q being used. I don't think we're going to see this blank be designated as a third Q. But still, 2 Qs on the board is interesting, pretty rare.
Yeah.
So Wellington has his pick of a whole lot of different spots. Let's see where he chooses to play. Looks like Leghorn is probably coming down. Seems fine. He's up $1 billion in this game.
Yeah.
That's going to score well.
Their goal here is to see who can have more time on their clock when the game is over.
And they're doing great. They're neck and neck. Is Wellington going to hit the clock at the same time? No, he's gone under. All right, there we go. So now Opeyemi has 1 second to make his next play. Nope, now he's behind on the clock. Worth noting on the Leghorn turn, there was a pretty cool option of air long with 5 overlaps at the top of the board. Really, what's the point in grinding super hard looking for plays like that when you're already up massively in the game? You got to preserve some energy at some point.
Yeah.
So Opeyemi, I guess, the players are determined to play this thing out. There's kind of a nice play of dough, right? Or no, wait, no, OT. It's not a word. I always see
Oh,
that.
Dougie.
Um, but dough, yeah, doughy on top of Leghorn probably seems pretty good. What are the 2 longest words ending in MI?
And I'm guessing Hemi Demi Semi Opeyemi is not one of them.
Yeah, that would be a great word if only. Maybe
Yeah,
someday.
maybe
Um,
someday.
but oh, look at this. So doughy
Yeah,
is the
Doughy.
play here. That looks pretty good, leaving just the K. Seems as good as anything. And Wellington has a pretty nice rack here. I think it's possible that. Oh no, I was gonna say the R for Argentic got blocked, but he already had catering in that spot, and now if he wants, he can just play teaching through the H of Doughy.
Yeah.
Um, so
Wow.
yeah, another bingo for sure is about to get played by Wellington. Let's see if he can increase his lead to 300 points in this game. He's going for it. He's saying, I don't care. If you triple me, I'll still be up by 100 points.
Yeah.
So,
Maybe
oh,
he's going for I was
no.
going for
Okay.
Citrange. I was hoping he was going for the 700 point game or whatever.
Yeah, I would have played teaching here, even if it opened up. So Citrange is going to be the play. You could play teaching. The idea for not playing it, of course, is you're setting up a triple or 9 timers, as some of you say, for Opeyemi. But even after that, you're going to be winning the game pretty much every time. So why not YOLO it and have some fun,
Yeah.
basically? So
Yeah. No, he knew his opponent kept the K, so he didn't want to open that K spot. We'll go with that.
exactly. Yeah. Um, so
So what do you call the fifth bingo or bonus in a row? What do you call it?
geez, I know that some people call bingo, bango, bongo, bungo, and then I've heard people call it Irving, which is amuses
I believe
me.
Irving is the fourth bingo.
Oh, it's not?
Bingo,
Okay.
bango, bongo, Irving.
Oh, and okay, so I'm not sure I have a name for the 5th one in
Oh,
a
okay.
row then, or the 5th in a
Okay.
game. So Wellington has bingoed 5 straight times to start this game, as we've noted. That's pretty amazing. It would be great to see him continue that and make Scrabble
Yeah.
history here. Um,
How many do you need in a row? Is it 7, 8? I know we've in the States, I know we've seen 7
Good
normally.
question. Yeah, we should know the answer to that to know
Yeah.
when history is going to be made. I'm actually not sure. Um, One Wonderful Fish says 8 bingos in a game, but how many
But in a row.
consecutively? I
I
think
know
6 has been done, right?
6 has been done. It was actually the record was 6 to open at one point, was played on my board.
Was
So I
it
had my old Scrabble board has that record played on it. I
uh,
don't know if it was. I think it may have been moved to 7 at one point.
was it Peter Armstrong that did that?
It was Kevin Fraley.
Kevin Fraley. Okay. So it looks like Viewey was played. Maybe a misannotated rack. Maybe that M is actually a W for Opeyemi because it looks like he played Viewey with a W that he's not getting credited for on his rack. And Wellington plays Gifty for 42. Looks fine. So he's now up to 413 to 156.
This game is certainly notable, or not.
So yeah, this is just one of those games where ultimately there is no chance that Opeyemi could ever have won this game. He made no misstep that I can really see, and this happens in Scrabble. But fortunately, most games you can win.
How about
Milfet.
that comment in the chat? There will be no table if Opeyemi flips it.
That's a great pun. We love that.
That is a
pun.
notable comment.
Yeah, nicely done. One Wonderful Fish. So 413 to 193 now, and we're gonna see what? Wait, PIO is Wellington?
PIO.
Wait, Wellington's playing PO.
Pio. He may have.
Opeyemi is like, whoops. Wellington says, "Oh yeah," he's smiling.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think that was a
he
genuine mistake.
he
I
thought
think
it was. Yeah, he thought it was poi probably.
yeah, that's what
Trying
happens when you play upside down.
to. True.
I've done it. I've played a bingo really fast with the board facing the other way, and then my opponent's like, "Are you sure?"
Yeah. So that's just yep, that's just an oopsie. So Wellington is not gonna need to be worried about that, of course. This game is far out of reach. He could probably do that 3 or 4 more times
Yeah,
before there's any threat at all to him to lose the game.
yeah.
So looks like Wode is the play in that same spot by Opeyemi, and it'll be Wellington's turn again to find a different place to play this time.
And he's still got a good spot for his C above the H there. So
That's a good point. Yeah, he can just fit his C right here going across, maybe just COX, or if he doesn't want to if he plays COX here, he sets up a good hook for an A, which maybe he won't want to do, so maybe he'll come up with something else. But
yeah,
either way, plenty of stuff. I'm not sure what he would play there, if not that.
yeah.
So Austin
Seems
says
like a very
Welly is
yeah.
crumbling. Time for the comeback.
Scoring stopped. You know, when the scoring stops, you gotta just go all out. I guess he may just play Klopp, perhaps, if he's really set on playing up in that part of the board.
And he is, seemingly. That seems fine. 38 points without opening very much back. It opens a triple that can't be bingoed to. Well,
Yeah,
maybe it can if there's a W blank blank C 9-letter word.
watchings.
But yeah, that ain't happening.
Yeah,
So seems fine. Um, Opeyemi has. Don't think he has anything there. So just playing out the string. Would you have resigned at this point, Conrad? Do you think?
yeah, like an
Long
hour
since
ago.
resigned. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. It's not clear that that's permitted. So they're just playing, having some fun, playing some Scrabble words, and then we start the next game, and it gets serious again.
yeah.
Um,
Serious Scrabble, as the streamer would say.
Yeah. Yes. So ABBA, the play there, 27 more points for Opeyemi. Just we still have a surprising number of tiles still to go. It looks like in the bag prior to Wellington's last play were 12 more tiles. He plays Con Man, which is kind of curious given he could have played Caxon up in the same spot for 42. Maybe just, again, getting to the end of the game. Don't think too hard. Save that brain power for the next game. Alex Ding says for maximum reverse psychology or just any kind of psychology, Wellington should start thinking every move through for several minutes.
I think he played Con Man knowing Jawan would get played. He's saving UX. Did he draw the E for Zhou?
Good point.
He knew
Nice
something
play. That's actually a nice play.
Yeah.
Got to give Opeyemi some props for finding kind of a tricky place to play off that J for 46. That's a really solid find there. Doesn't look like Welly drew what he would need to play in that spot. So it just goes to show, he's getting unlucky in this game, clearly,
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
Wellington.
Yeah.
Plays Hub for 31. And we're rapidly reaching the conclusion of this game here. I think it's not premature for me to adjust my little tag on screen to say Wellington leads 2-1 at the base of the screen there because we're headed towards that shortly. Oh, I think we saw a miss of Seedbed here with UNS at the base of the board here, right? That rack would play here. Not that it matters. Jeed is the play instead. Bag is empty now. Let's see how hard the players work on solving this end game. It's actually probably a pretty interesting endgame for Wellington with the Z and the X on his rack here.
Yeah. Though I think he found the avenue too.
He found a nice play. Yeah,
Yeah.
that might be, yep, that is the best end game for him here. So that's very nice. Um, and response of beefs and abbas, that seems fine as well. Couple better options than that, but again, who cares? And Wellington's very likely to play Oxter through that O and finish this game off. And I'm way behind on the score. I'm sorry. Score is currently 554 to 362. That's Scrabble, folks. It happens sometimes. That's why we play a best of 5 series. And really, if we had as much time and energy and staff as we needed to really determine the best player, we would play much more than a best of 5.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But this is at least better than a one game take all situation. Wellington, by the way, plays his best endgame play of just EX instead of going out. Actually playing in this spot was better. It scored so many points that it worked out better for him, and it almost got him to the 600 point threshold, but not quite. He closes at 595 to 374. Well, what can you say about a game like that, Conrad? It just, it happens sometimes, and that's Scrabble, right?
That's sometimes that's just the way the cookie crumbles.
And a lot of cookie crumbling on Opeyemi's lap right now, but he has a chance to brush that cookie off. Yeah. All right, I'm going to stop with this metaphor now. He has a chance to go ahead.
Here's a question for you.
Yes.
Would you? Okay, so my meta question is: would you ever resign a game? Would you have resigned this game?
I'm definitely not philosophically opposed to resignations in Scrabble. For whatever reason, I just find it difficult to get myself to resign a live game. It's more inertia and habit than anything else. I think in a series like this, once Wellington plays his 4th bingo and certainly his 5th bingo, I'm resigning that, right? Like that even I would resign that in that case. Yeah. So in a match play scenario of that nature. Yeah. So, it is what it is. You see resignations a lot in other games. There are other games that just have it as it's not an issue of etiquette at all. There are people who do think it is an issue of etiquette. If I'm Wellington and I like scoring 600 points in a game, I'm going to say, don't resign. I want to get 600 points in this game. I don't really care about that one way or another personally. So, it doesn't bother me, but it's just one of those things where I don't know if it's ever going to change to be able to resign in sort of core gameplay or whatever you want to call it. Like when spread is a tiebreaker,
get rid of spread when
that would be a big change. So anyway, players are looking like they're going on a bit of a break. The next game is, getting word that it's going to be a 20-minute break. Ooh. The next game is going to start at whatever hour it is. It's going to start at 45. So for me, that would be 10:45 a.m. For Conrad, 7:45. For the players, 3:45 p.m. But in any case, I have to change this to 10:45 as the countdown timer. But in any case, I think things are a little more stable with the board, which I'm very thankful for. And Wellington is on the cusp of winning several $1,000s, Conrad. That's always a nice feeling to get a chunk of change playing Scrabble, which you yourself have done many times.
Yeah. What do we have a breakdown of the prizes? Can you re-sum it up for folks?
I do, yeah. Maybe during the break I'll get a more thorough prize table, but I know that the top finisher here is getting $1,000,000 which is roughly equal to $2,500 USD. So it's not, that's a pretty significant prize. It's going to get the tournament WESPA rated, so the players that are doing well here are going to add to their WESPA rating by virtue of their performance. And I think Opeyemi is likely clinching something in the realm of at least $1,000 for coming in second. So the players are doing well for themselves here, but still a pretty nice amount of money at stake. If Wellington's able to win this third and final game, or if Opeyemi comes back and wins the final two, nice payday for these guys. So
Yeah, for sure.
so anyway, with that, I think we're going to take just a quick break, as I guess we don't really need these standings up on screen anymore, but that's okay. So yeah, stay tuned. In just a few minutes, about between 15 and 20 minutes, we'll be back with the final, at least one, maybe two games of the MGI Grand Slam 2022.